Hey everyone, so today's video is on how to use cloth pads discreetly. Now, sorry I'm doing it from the side here and there's kind of junk over there, please excuse that, I'm just trying to do this to my best ability. Okay, so first of all, you can see all the pads I have down here, and I will point them out to you. So I have 15 pads here. I think to survive your period comfortably, you will need at least 15 in your stash, but you can do it with less. And this was actually a question that was asked to me, and this girl is making her own pads. So if you're making your own, you can kind of just make more, and I would recommend you make about 20 to be comfortable. But here we go. So I have two overnight ones here. They can be any length you need. This one's 13.5 inches, and this one's 12 inches. They both work fine for me. Then I have 4 heavy pads here, ranging in sizes, and I think this Domino's pad's 11 inches, and then this one is 9. I think this one's 9, and they're all 9, those three. And then those are the sizes that work for me. And then over here I have, I think you can see very well, but I have a Mimi's Dreams regular, a Gem Cloth regular, an Eco Albinetta, and I have 5 regular pads, and this one's a County Cloth Creation and a Terra pad. And 5 regular pads, because I have more of a regular period than a heavy period, is good, because you can always go back to heavy pads if you need more. Then down here, which you can't see very well, so I'll just pick them up, I just have 4 different panty liners. So a Domino pad, a Green Cycle pad, a Pampered Mama pad, and a Mimi's Dreams pad. Okay, so those are the pads you're going to need. Now what I recommend is that you have at least one wet bag. And I'm afraid, because I'm on my period right now, this has got stuff in it, but you want a large wet bag like this. Now if you can't afford a large wet bag, like this one, it doesn't need to have a snap or a zip in it. This will need to have a PUL lining on it, because you're going to be putting damp pads in this. But you can use, if you can't get that, a really well made, reusable plastic bag that some of the posher shops give you, just like that, because they won't leak. But you've got to make sure that they are very well sealed down there. And this one is a 100% degradable one, so still good for the environment. So yeah, that will work as well. Cloth pads won't smell, so you don't have to worry about them zipping up or anything. But yeah. So now I'm going to bring this bucket into view for you. You've got to pretend in this video that this bucket is your sink, because you aren't going to need a bucket, but you've got to need a sink obviously for this. So yeah, that. And then last thing is you're going to need a stain remover of some kind. This is Ecova stain remover. And this one works really well, but anyone like Bunch of Farmers stain stick or any kind of stain stick you have in your house will work really well. I really recommend using a natural one though. Okay, so to start off with, the thing I recommend you do is you have your wet bag over here, and when you start your period, you'll be using the pads you need, so you'll probably be using about, let's say, 1, 2, 3 of these pads. You have, like me, one heavy day. Use 3 of these pads in the day. Maybe you even use all 4 of these. Now, you take off your nighttime pad as well. So these, when you've used a cloth pad, what you do is you fold it in half like this, and then you snap them together like that. Okay, and then these will all go in your wet bag. Now, I'm not going to put them here because this has got dirty ones, so I'm going to use the bag for this one to demonstrate this. So keep going in your bag, all your soil pads. Okay, so all your pads are folded up in there, and they're all dry right at this moment in time. Okay? So, oh sorry, no, that's not true at all. Okay, so you've got them all folded up in here. Now, I'm just going to demonstrate what you would have done with those with this one Mimi's Dreams pad. Okay? So, when you take it off, what you want to do is you want to take your sink, and you want to basically be running the sink, and you want to wash it out by running under the tap, and then you basically do what we call zhuzhing with our cloth pads, which is where you rub them together like this, and then keep rinsing it out, and washing and rinsing it, and all that kind of stuff until the water runs clear through here. The next thing you're going to want to do is take your stain stick, take the lid off, because this is dry, I'm not going to do that. Take the lid off, and you're going to want to rub it in to wherever the stain is on here. Wherever there's blood, just rub this all over it. There should only be a faint stain on the top. It shouldn't actually be, anything sticky or anything like that. Then fold it up and put it in the bag like I just showed you. Okay, so that's what you would have done. So they would have been damp, and don't put them in soaking wet. Squeeze them out beforehand and put them in when they're just about damp. Now, so you've got a bag of damp pads here, and let's just say you've just used your overnight pad. like this one here. Cozy Cloth is a really good shop actually to start with because they're really cheap. And she does good value for that money. So let's say you've just used this and you've just rinsed it out and you've just done all that stuff and it's folded up. Yeah, like that. Now, don't put this one in the bag. What you want to do is just hold this one back for a second. You know, put it on the side of the sink. Then when you have finished using that one, you want to take your sink back in. Now, the reason you don't want to put this one in is because you've only just put your stain solution on this. It needs to settle on this for a little while. So, you know, by the time you've got 5 pads, you can wash the other 4 pads, but hold on to that 5th pad. So these ones you've now got, they're damp, they've been used with the stain remover. And what you want to do is now you want to take them out, all of them out. Okay, so they're still all folded up like that. Now I'm just going to show you with one of them. This is a tree hugger. You open it up again. Now the stain remover should have had time to do some stuff, and what you want to do is you want to wash the remainder of that stain remover out. There shouldn't be much of a stain, however this method isn't very stain proof, so if you're really trying to hide from your parents, I'm afraid you won't be able to have completely clean ones. But they will be clean of blood and everything, but they might have a little stain on them. However, if you're really generous with the stain remover, you shouldn't have any problems. So wash that out, wash off the rest of that, make sure there's no soapy water left, and wring it out really well. Okay, and you want to do that with all of these pads. Now, when that's done, what you're going to want to do is you either want to go and sneak down and use your dryer, or what you can do is you can just put them on a radiator under a towel so no one can actually see them, and do it just before you go to bed, and then in the morning wake up and, you know, go and take them out again when you go to the bathroom in the morning. That is the only thing I can think of how to do that secretly. You cannot dry them in your cupboard, I'm afraid, because these need to get air to them. And I can only really think of a radiator and a towel as being a good way. It's the way I've done it before, but not hiding from my parents. So there you go. And you want to keep repeating that with the different ones and keep putting them back. And obviously if you run out of regulars, you can always use a heavy pad, or if you run out of heavy pads, you can always use a regular, just change it more often. So that is the only way I can think of how to use them discreetly. I hope it's helpful to you. Obviously, if you really do want to use them in the long run, I suggest you do tell your parents, if it is your parents, this is who you're trying to stay discreet from. The reason is, though, if they see you after a while, they probably will actually figure it out. But at that point, you can point out that they haven't had to buy you any pads or tampons, they've saved money, they haven't actually probably even noticed what you're doing, so it's not disgusting or anything. And another thing is, it's saving them time, you know, you're doing it, so it's not gross, and it's your body and all that kind of stuff, and you can also point out about the environmental effects and that kind of thing. But yeah, I hope this was helpful to any of you girls out there who are really keen to use reusables but aren't really sure how you do it discreetly. My top tips is you will need at least 15 pads, and I really do recommend that you get these, you know, you can either make them or you can buy them, depends on wherever you want to look. There are a lot of shops on Etsy you can check out. Precious Styles will be linked down below as always, but yeah, always ask me some questions if you want. I really do recommend you get a wet bag though. They're really useful things, especially when you're out and about. And as you can see, I've got some in here for my period right now. But yeah, like I said before, I hope this is helpful. Please like this video if you really did like it, and subscribe on the button down there. And I will see you guys later. Bye-bye. Oh, I forgot to mention, when you're storing your cloth pads, obviously because my parents called it, I just have this massive thing in my cupboard that I store all my cloth pads in. But if you're being discreet, then what you could do is you could either store it around the back of something, as you can see it's my old box of Tampax and pads I never use now. But you could also use it in a drawer that your parents never like you to go in. This is my medical drawer. You can see it's just full of bandages and old like medical crap I've used in the past. But yeah, so you could perhaps bury it at the back of one of these drawers, just stack them up there. And I know my mum just puts them in her knicker drawer, so you can put them wherever. It's completely up to you, but it is pretty easy to hide them actually. Just put them in a place that you never really use that often, like an art cupboard or something in your room that doesn't get used much, and that's how you do it.